Is religion necessary for man? Must man have a religion? Yes. The reasons are because man's reason demands this homage of God. First, man reasons to God as to the first cause. From whence did I come? And then he reasons as to a supreme being who is himself uncaused. Hello, I am Father John Okerelu. Today we are going to commence a series titled Conferences on the True Religion. Many people say that it doesn't matter what religion we belong to, as long, they say, as we live good lives. God has created us with free will, and then we are to use the will as we wish. But is that the case? This first series we shall speak on religion in general. What is religion? The word religion comes from the Latin word religare, which means to rebind, to unite to God. In its essence, religion is the virtue by which man pays God the homage due to God because of his supreme and singular excellence. This act of homage must, it is evident, be acts not only of the intellect and the will, but also of the body. Since man is a composite being made up of body and soul, it is the whole composite, the whole man, that is to pay to God the homage due to God. Religion may be considered in its content and in its exercise. In its content, religion is the sum total of truths and laws determining man's moral relations to God. In its exercise, religion means that man rules himself according to these truths and laws. We have so many religions around the world, and even in certain religions there are different beliefs. Hence, religion is divided into true and false. Just like you have a coin and there are many counterfeits of that coin, a true one and a fake. So there is one true religion and many false religions. The true religion is that which gives due homage to the true God in the manner decreed by God or dictated by right reason. A false religion is one which gives homage to a false God, example, idolatry, or to the true God in a false way. There are many religions who do that. Is religion necessary for man? Must man have a religion? Yes. The reasons are because man's reason demands this homage of God. First, man reasons to God as to the first cause. From whence did I come? And then he reasons as to a supreme being who is himself uncaused. The supreme being, the supreme judge, the supreme good. Secondly, man reasons that his true happiness is not to be found in finite things. Think about all the people who amass wealth. Why is one, say, 100,000 not enough? Or 1 million? Or 10? The reason is because these temporal things are not able to satisfy the desires of the human heart. God made the heart, the soul of man, that way that only himself can satisfy man. Because all mankind demands that homage be given to God. Man of whatever condition of life, everywhere and at all times, instinctively worships a supreme being. The philosopher Plutarch says, "And if you go about the earth, you can find cities without walls, literature, kings, houses, resources, money, ignorant of the gymnasia and the theater, but no one ever saw a city without temples or oracles, that does not offer sacrifice to obtain benefits, that is not anxious to avert evils by holy rites. I think," he says, "it is easier for a city to be built without foundations than for a city to exist and last without religion and the deity." Cicero, the famous oratorian, was a good orator, says, "Nature knows that God is to be worshipped, and that every man realizes the obligation of this law." The other reason why religion is necessary is that every individual human being is commanded to give this homage to God. Every man has a conscience who dictates to him what is right and what is wrong, a voice of reason in him ordering this worship of the deity. Every man, simply because he is a man, has an intellect which cannot help affirming the obligation of paying due homage to the Supreme Being, because by his intellect, man must perceive and acknowledge his utter dependence on the Supreme Being, and a necessary consequence of this perception is the recognition that it is right and just to worship and reverence the Lord of all. Finally, religion is necessary because the continued existence of human society demands this homage of God. Without religion, human society would be impossible. How is that? In place of that social organization to which man is impelled by his nature and which is fundamentally rooted in justice, men would swiftly degenerate into chaotic masses. For without religion, justice is impossible, and without justice, human society would collapse. Even the pagans of old realized that. Religion then is necessary because it has its origin in man's rational nature and is the expression of that rational nature recognizing and fulfilling its obligation towards the deity. No, religion did not arise from prejudice of education, because as we have seen, it arose from man's rational nature, naturally expressing itself and its obligations. It is absurd to say that prejudices, no matter how strong and ineradicable, could be as universal and persistent as religion, a thing which has been coexistent with man wherever and whenever found. Prejudices are not the same among different peoples and do not last under the calmer light of mature years. Besides, prejudices are continually changing with the centuries, while religion remains as long as man has intelligence to perceive his obligations and the will to command activities which are expressions of them. Religion did not arise from the legislation of tyrants who saw in it a means of restraining their people. Tyrants would have seen this same restraining force at the same time and would have put it into effect universally, and on such a firm basis that it has lasted during all the history of man, merely as a kind of policing and punitive measure in which God is made the custodian of man's laws and the avenger of human transgressions against those laws. This is even all the more absurd when we reflect that religion existed prior to all organized political institutions, even among savages, and at the cradle of the human race. Besides, revolutions have destroyed political institutions and left religion untouched in its foundations, because not even a religion can change man's intellectual nature. Religion did not arise from the fear of the unknown, but rather this fear arises from religion, which in turn arises from reason. Religion includes, besides fear, the love of God, joy in God, thankfulness to God for all the goods of nature, hope in God for the goods of a future life. Religion can be natural or supernatural. A natural religion is that which contains truths and obligations known merely by unaided reason. Example, that God exists, that good is different from evil, that man must reverence God. Supernatural religion, on the other hand, is that religion which contains truths and obligations made known to man by an extraordinary manifestation of God. The manifestation in supernatural religion may be with regard to the truth manifested. Example, that in God there is one divine nature and three divine persons. Such a truth could never have been known to man if God did not manifest it. And then also with regard to the manner in which the manifestation is made. The truth that God exists is known by unaided reason. We can look at the world around us, see the perfect order, and order bespeaks an intellectual designer, an intelligent designer. And from that order in the world of creation, we arise to the knowledge of God. But this truth can also arise in a supernatural way when God manifests this truth extraordinarily. So though the truth can be known by unaided reason, still God can reveal this same truth in an extraordinary way. The fundamental truths of religion are accepted on the authority of God Himself, and hence the sciences rely on the light of reason alone. And finally, the subject matter of religion is God and everything else insofar as it is related to God. The object of religion is to give precepts by which man can guide his conduct in order to obtain that happiness which consists in the immediate contemplation of God. In the next episode, we shall discuss revelation. God bless you.